So marijuana, heroin, crack, alcohol, the gamut?
You name it, pretty well covered it.
Rob Ford speaking earlier today with CBC Toronto anchor Dwight Drummond. It was Ford's first interview since he got out of 2 months of rehab and returned to his job at Toronto City Hall. Dwight is with me now in studio. We're going to replay parts of the interview for viewers. Lots of ground to cover in that interview, Dwight. Where did you start?
You know, I started with a picture because Rob Ford went to rehab shortly after a picture surfaced of him holding a crack pipe. And I wanted to know, were you trying to get away from that picture? What was going on in that picture that sent you to rehab? Can you tell us what's happening here in this picture?
That's exactly...
Is it what it looks like?
That's exactly what it is.
Is that a crack pipe?
Yes, it is.
And what was happening?
I was smoking crack.
You were smoking crack. I mean, what was the extent of your drug use while you were
in
office?
It was a disease that I've struggled with for years.
Including crack cocaine?
That's why I went to rehab. I had a substance abuse problem.
So marijuana, heroin, crack, alcohol, the gamut?
You name it, pretty well covered it. And I was in denial. I convinced myself I didn't have a problem.
Well, you had a problem.
I had a severe problem. A severe problem that, thank God for Greenstone, saved my life. And I heard a lot of people lying, conniving, hiding to cover up for this problem. And I met a lot of people up at Greenstone that had the exact same problems as I have.
One of the big questions we were getting when we put out to the public and to viewers and listeners, they want to know if you were doing drugs in this office at City Hall.
No.
When you're bringing people back here late at night.
No, this was all on personal time. I was definitely under the influence of alcohol.
While you were in the office,
here.
yeah? Drinking here?
Yes, but there was no drug use here. But at the end of the day, it's all a substance. Alcohol, drugs. It's a substance use problem. It's not just an addiction. Some people can drink. Some people can casually use drugs. I have a disease. I have a chronic disease. I was born with blonde hair. I'm going to die with blonde hair.
You're going to die with this problem?
I was born with this disease. I'm going to die with this disease.
In a subsequent interview, he now denies that he used heroin, but he did say he used a lot of drugs. And what was interesting is that the security staff at City Hall said they've seen him there in a drunken stupor. And today, he confessed that he was actually drinking at City Hall while the mayor of the city.
Incredible to hear. So now we know for sure what he was doing in that picture, but what about the videos we've seen where we've heard him say things that are profoundly crude and racist? Let's take a look now at how he answered Dwight's question about that.
You've blamed a lot of your mistakes on being in a drunken stupor. And some people would say that when you take alcohol, it actually lessens your inhibitions, that it actually takes down that filter and you say what you really believe. You said some really hurtful, degrading things about people of color, about gay people, members of the LGBT community, about Italians, about Jews. If those things aren't in your heart, why are they coming out of your mouth with such frequency?
When you have a disease that I realized that I have, I can't even imagine using that terminology.
But you have
those,
numerous occasions. It's on tape.
I don't deny that, and I think that goes along with having this disease. It's a chronic medical condition that I never understood, and you do things, you say things that just aren't you. I take full responsibility, Dwight. I take full responsibility of what I've said and what I've done. All I can do is apologize and deal with this disease. This is an everyday battle that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. It's the beginning of a long, long journey, and I'm going to battle this disease to the day I die.
So you're not a racist, you're not a homophobe, it was just all alcohol?
Not whatsoever.
I mean, this is one of the most inclusive cities. We just had a successful World Pride. How can you be a leader of the city with those things on your record?
When you have this disease, you say things, you do things that aren't you.
Some incredible admissions from someone who is currently holding public office,
Yes.
talking about his own behavior. I'm curious, what was your own feeling about his demeanor in that interview? Because you were asking him very direct questions.
And I've covered Rob Ford for years in the city, and he's always been very combative. Today, he was calm, he was contrite, and it was a little surprising. And we hope that he was also being truthful and candid, but those questions still remain.
So you've asked about the photo, you've asked about what we've heard him say. The other big question for many people is, will he now talk to the police about some of the associations he's had?
Yeah, and quite a few out there. Sandro Lisi, his longtime friend and sometime driver, facing allegations that he went and tried to strong-arm people to get that crack video that we now know exists for Rob Ford. He's going through that. Another interesting one, he is in rehab, trying to get better. How does someone then get charged with impaired driving his vehicle with the keys, driving around cottage country with this vehicle? And I kept asking him about that. How does this happen? If you're there getting better and you're no longer associating with these kind of people, how does this happen? You're the chief magistrate, right? You're the mayor of this town. How can you not cooperate with police investigations and speak to them about some of these people you've been associating with that are known criminals?
Well, again, regardless of my alcoholism and my substance abuse problem, this is handled through my lawyer, Dennis Morris. I think anybody in my position would get legal advice, and that's exactly what I've done. So I think,
And that's,
obviously, it's before the courts, as
Yeah.
you know.
and you're speaking specifically about Sandro Lisi, so that's
I'm
before
speaking
the
about anything you're referring to. You haven't named anybody, but anything to do with the criminal element, that's before the courts. I'm not associating with them. And to answer your question, like I have, I think you should speak to Dennis Morris, my lawyer.
But
And if Dennis advises me, I follow his lead.
so he's advised you not to talk to investigators, and that's why you're not talking to investigators.
I'm not going to speak on behalf of Dennis.
But can you see why somebody, as a member of the public, would expect the mayor to speak to investigators if requested? Can you see that?
Absolutely, but if your lawyer says do not, you listen to your lawyer. And I have the top criminal lawyer in Canada. So I think Mr. Morris would be the best person to address that.
And I'm not, talking about specific people. We're just talking about in general in this high office that you hold.
I made mistakes. Dwight, I made mistakes that I wouldn't wish this disease on my worst enemy. My worst enemy. I would not want them to suffer what I've been suffering for years and years.
Okay, what
and
happens when Sandro goes to court and this video comes out, and then you're in office and you're the mayor of the city? What happens if you get reelected and this comes out? How do you deal with that then?
It's a disease that I've had, and I'm going to battle this
It's
disease.
just a sickness.
It's a severe sickness,
Okay.
chronic sickness.
While you're being treated for the sickness, you're up at Greenstone, right? And you're up there getting better. How does someone then, while this is happening, get arrested and charged with being impaired in driving your vehicle? While you're up there getting better, somebody is charged with being out and impaired and driving your vehicle. These are the kind of people you said that you're no longer associating with, you're staying away from.
Right.
I mean, who is Leanne McRobb to you? Did you meet her at Greenstone?
Obviously, I think maybe you should talk to Sean Leon, the owner of Greenstone. It's all confidential, the people up there. He would be the person that you
He
should ask those
gave the
questions
keys.
to.
He gave your
No,
car keys to
no,
her.
but whatever happened at Greenstone, as you know, it's all confidential. And again, I think you should, I can't divulge any information.
But it happened off of Greenstone, right? She was arrested not on the property,
She
right?
was a resident at Greenstone, and I cannot get into any information about any confidential information about any resident.
You can't tell me if you gave her your keys. Like if you gave her the keys.
About,
but that's just
people at
personal
Greenstone.
between you and her. It's nothing to do with her rehab. Did you give her the keys? Did she take your vehicle without your knowledge?
Yes.
She took the vehicle without your
No,
knowledge?
I gave her my keys.
Okay.
But again, if you want, you ask me a question about this individual,
Okay.
what happened at Greenstone, this is all confidential.
Yeah. Was she making a liquor run? Like why did she?
Well, again, I think.
Was she impaired when you gave her the keys? Do you know that?
No.
We have more from Dwight's interview today with Rob Ford when we come back, including the answer to this question.
If evidence comes forth that you have fallen off the wagon, will you resign then? Will you go away and get the help that you need?
This is a disease that was not this job. I love this job, and I'm very proud of my public record doing this job.
But should Rob Ford continue doing the job? We're back now with Dwight Drummond, who sat down with Toronto's mayor today for his first interview since leaving rehab. Dwight Ford has now admitted to using drugs, using alcohol in his office, and that he has a dependency problem, but he is back in the mayor's office.
Yeah, and he says he's sick, and that's the question that a lot of people have tonight. Why not step away from this? Why not step down if you have this severe, severe problem, as you describe it? This is how he answers. Why should we believe you at this point, after all that's happened? Why should we believe you that now you finally changed, that you've hit rock bottom and this is it? If you've been doing this job as a city councilor all these years and taking drugs and getting away with it.
You say I've lied to the people, and I've lied before.
You've said
right?
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You've admitted that. Yeah.
The person that I was lying to the most was myself. And until I realized that I had this disease, you can never, ever try to cover up for this
But we
disease.
couldn't trust anything that you said.
But
now we
you're
can.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I've dealt with this disease. I've had hundreds of hours of intensive rehab, ongoing rehab. This is this after 60 days. You're not cured from the disease.
No, not at all.
That you've had for years and years and years.
So why
I'm
not
meeting
take
with
some time
professionals.
to get better for your family, for your kids, for your wife?
This is what I love to do. This is not causing the disease. I've had this disease before I even entered this office.
It sounds almost like you're being selfish. Like, you need to take care of yourself before you come in and take care of the city.
This is a part of life. If you understand how the disease works, it really has nothing to do with your profession. I was away with people, professionals, professional people, professional athletes, CEOs. It's not your profession. It's a disease that you have, and there's a number of reasons why you have these uncontrollable cravings and triggers.
If evidence comes forth that you have fallen off the wagon, that everything you're saying to me today about your sickness and about you getting better, if evidence surfaces after this that you've fallen off the wagon, will you resign then? Will you go away and get the help that you need?
Well, Dwight, I know I didn't drink yesterday. I know I haven't drinking today. I'm taking one day at a time.
No guarantees that we might not be talking about this next year.
I did not drink yesterday, and I haven't drank today, and I take one day at a time.
Will you step away, though? Will you resign?
Oh, I'm going to repeat myself again. Again, I didn't drink yesterday, haven't drank today, and with this disease, you must take it one day at a time. And that's exactly what I've learned, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Wow, a whole bunch of incredible remarks, Dwight. I mean, even in the narrative of the Rob Ford saga, this is another punctuating moment. What was your takeaway? What really stuck with you?
A couple of things. He seemed a bit rehearsed at times. Like a politician, sometimes you ask them a question, but they stick to the script. He seemed candid at other times, and, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. At one point, he said, I have the best criminal defense lawyer in the country. Most mayors don't need to retain somebody like that. And I think that says something. The other thing, and this is feedback I'm getting from people, they want to know, is he using this affliction, this disease that affects so many people, ruins so many lives, as an excuse for bad behavior? If he's really sick, people love redemption stories, and they hope for a happy ending. But if he's not, and he's just using this to somehow obscure what he's done and try to get away with it, then people won't be happy with that, and the voters will decide, because he's still in the race.
And of course, the mayoral race later this year. So lots more of this story, I think, still to come.
Rob Ford has made it very clear he's not going anywhere.
Thanks for coming here tonight. Thanks, Dwight.
Thank you.